This YouTube course will teach you how to 3D model with nodes and capsules inside of Cinema 4D. Nodes allow you to create 3D models that can be modular, parametric, and complex all at the same time, giving you more control over your projects. You don't need to be a genius to know how to 3D model with nodes. You just need a coach who is willing to teach you how to hold your breath and some basic strokes before throwing you in the deep end of the pool, expecting you to somehow swim. We'll break down one node a day in this class, and each episode will be a new node. We'll apply to a real-world project of 3D modeling, a modular countertop, and you can apply these skills to any project you can imagine. Today we are covering the user interface for nodes inside of Cinema 4D. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below so that I can help you out with them. So here's the project we'll be working on here. By the end of this course, you'll know every single node in here, but let's go through the layout. So right now you can see that I'm in the nodes layout. If you'd like to know how I switched into that, here at the top you'll see a number of layouts to your upper right. Standard is the one Cinema 4D usually first opens with, and you'll see that you have your objects panel here. Anything that you add into your scene as an object you can see in here. And my nodes mesh is what is controlling this here. So if I click on any one of these objects, you'll see their attributes come up here in the attributes panel. And you can of course adjust these. So you'll see for my nodes mesh, I have the width, height, and depth. Now if we switch over into another layout like our nodes, you'll notice that some things are similar and some things are different. So we still have our objects manager. We still have our attributes manager. Now initially you'll see the scene root here. Once we click on our nodes mesh, you'll see the properties for that and all the nodes for that. And this is all that we're going to be learning in this class. You'll see still your width, height, and depth. And you'll see this also mentioned here, width, depth, and height. And what you plug in here will show up as attributes for the object over to your right. And we'll talk about that in greater depth in a little bit. This right panel where it says geometry, if you disconnect this, you won't see any models in here anymore, because this is actually controlling the output into your scene of your model. And I can of course adjust these values, and you can see that this is completely parametric, which is quite wonderful. Can adjust the height, the width, the depth of this, and it'll all respond because nodes are fully parametric. Up here to the left you'll see is my console. This will just give you some additional information while you're working. And something really important to be aware of is this asset browser. So you just need to click this little button up here to the upper left of your screen and you'll see your asset browser. Now you have a few different options in here. This is where you're going to grab your nodes from. This is where you're going to find your capsules and everything you need to work inside of here throughout this course. So this is really important. If you click on nodes here, you'll see this folder nodes, and all these different folders contain different types of nodes that we're going to be working with here. And we'll go in greater depth of that now. I just want you to know where those are. If you click operators, you'll see options to work with capsules. Many of these will look very similar, but these nodes can also work as capsules, and we'll talk a little bit about that and how they work. When you learn nodes, you'll be able to also apply them to capsules. We're building that foundation so you can 3D model with these and make anything you imagine. So initially, I just want you to know where everything is so that as we cover these things in greater depth within this course, you can easily find them. Now you feel comfortable working inside of the nodes user interface. If you'd like to learn the nodes mesh and move on to the next step of this project, click this link over here, and I'll see you soon.